Welcome back, everybody. It's Alex, and today we are talking about the wild news that has been breaking about crypto lenders. They're failing left and right, and some recent news broke out about Voyager today, so we're going to cover that and some other news that recently broke today as well, and then finish up with some Bitcoin updates. So let's hop right in. So first of all, the first casualty of the last few days is the once very, very bullish BlockFi. If you can remember, everyone was screaming about how this was the next best thing.
So what?
BlockFi, rocket ship, get on board.
But just in the last few days, it looks as though FTX will be closing in on a $25 million deal in a fire sale to buy out BlockFi. Now, you might be saying, okay, 25 million, they came away with that pretty well. But the issue with that is that it's 99% below BlockFi's last private valuation. The last time that they were privately valued, it was at $4.8 billion. So essentially, in their world of VC funding, in their world of investments, they've essentially gone to zero. So now FTX is going to be able to scoop them up for pennies on the dollar. We'll see how this affects everyone involved at BlockFi. Everyone has their money in BlockFi, and then also how this is going to affect the way that they approach not only BlockFi's business model, but also kind of how they do their branding, right? Because a lot of lenders are going down. We're seeing a lot of issues. And so it's time for FTX to kind of come in and see if they can, add to the value of BlockFi. Now, the next couple pieces of news that actually broke just today, we've been seeing this name a lot in the news, but Three Arrows Capital has officially filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy after defaulting on a few massive loans. So they're looking to protect their U.S. assets, and they've actually been ordered to liquidate their assets based on a court ruling in the British Virgin Islands. So right now they're hemorrhaging money, and now they're trying to protect their assets here in the United States. Now, a big reason why they defaulted was because obviously, one, their business model, a lot of that money that they thought was going to be coming in guaranteed. Obviously, with the market turning down, that was not the case. But the kind of windfall effect of this was actually one of these top kind of crypto lenders, Voyager, which you've definitely heard of, most likely. They've actually just as of this afternoon halted all trading, deposits, and withdrawals. Now, this probably sounds pretty familiar, right? Just like Celsius, and you would be right on the money. So they have paused all customer trading deposits, withdrawals, and any rewards earned for stablecoins on interest. Now, the biggest reason that this happened was because Three Arrows Capital defaulted on a loan worth more than $670 million. And so Voyager issued a notice to their investors just about last week. And at the time, Voyager said that it intended to pursue a recovery from Three Arrows Capital and didn't expect to continue, to suspend customer withdrawals. They expected to operate and fulfill those customer orders and withdrawals. But now they went back on that, and today just paused all customer activity. So a huge red flag. It looks to be that Voyager will be following Celsius's fate. Whether someone comes in and rescues them via buyout, similar to BlockFi, that is all kind of up in the air. But we will see what happens with Voyager. It looks very, very likely as of today that Voyager will likely be collapsing and serving the same fate as Celsius and a couple of these other lending platforms. Now, this isn't unique, right? We're starting to see this kind of windfall of crypto lenders fall, right? And this is happening not only in the United States, but also in Asia. So Babel Finance, an Asian crypto lending company that has just completed financing with $2 billion in valuation, said it encountered unusual liquidity pressures and redemptions and withdrawals stopped. So the same exact thing is happening. And it's a repetitive process because a lot of these companies have the same business model. So when you see this crazy reversal in price trend for all of crypto, a lot of their business model gets blown up because a lot of what they do is they take those deposits and then go leverage that to give you that really, really good interest back on your stables and on your crypto, right? So very, very concerning. And I think that this puts it together beautifully. So asset price reversals are particularly challenging to crypto lenders because their business model is very much like that of a regular bank. Namely, it is based on liquidity transformation and leverage, which is what we just talked about, which makes them vulnerable to bank runs. And this is kind of the kicker, right? However, banks do not keep their clients' money in liquid form. So Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, they don't have that money that you're seeing in your account. They don't have that liquid for you. So if you go to withdraw that, 9 times out of 10, it's not there, right? And so if a ton of people at once try to go withdraw their funds and the fund is illiquid, you're going to have a bank run and everything turns illiquid and goes to zero. So given that they don't keep their clients' money in liquid form, they lend out a large portion of those deposits to borrowers, illiquid, in return for a higher yield. The difference being their revenue source, right? So this entire business model is based on the fact that people will continue lending or continue borrowing, continue depositing, and not withdraw, at least over the long term, right? But when you have these incredible price reversals like we've seen in the last month, it really, really threatens these business models. So we're seeing this across the entire market. I think we'll see more even fall. And now I want to hear from the Web3 Foundation CEO on why he thinks most crypto will go to zero. And he talks about why there are way too many cryptos out there right now and references issues like this. So let's hear from him.
There are far too many blockchains out of there, too many tokens, and that's confusing users, and that's also bringing some risks for the users. Like at the beginning of the internet, you were having lots of .com companies, and lots of them were scams and were not bringing any value, and all that got cleared, and now we have very useful and legit companies. I think the good news, if there's one good news out of what happened last week, is that that kind of events are very painful for the people who suffer the losses of their money through those events. But it's also a way to clean who is there for the wrong reasons and who are the projects who really are there for the long term and try to provide utility through their blockchain and token. So back again, the tokens needs to have a real utility, not just being there to pump in value and generate what we have seen.
All right. With that great context, I want to wrap up with some information on Bitcoin. So we recently just closed out the second quarter of the year. Obviously, a quarter is 3 months. And one of the biggest highlights out of this quarter is that we've noticed that Bitcoin has actually closed its worst quarter in history. So you can see kind of the close seconds would be here and then maybe back here as well. And we had the worst quarter in Bitcoin's history. Now, you can look at that in many different ways, right? Because we have seen these, quarterly downtrends after our big upside pushes. We have seen these kind of shrink over time, right? Or sorry, grow over time. So this was kind of our lowest quarter over quarter loss. This gets bigger, and then this obviously is the largest in Bitcoin's history. So really, I think short term, this is not good for Bitcoin. I think we'll probably continue to see downward movement, down into, maybe 15K, 16K range. So short term, I don't think it's good. But longer term, I think we did need this correction to eventually come back to the upside. But I think a very, very important thing to take into account of where we're actually at with Bitcoin right now. We're not in a fantastic spot. I think overall we're likely undervalued, but I think we're going to go lower. And I just wanted to get that out to you guys because this has kind of been trending on Twitter. People trying to understand how have we performed in the last 3 months, the last quarter compared to historically in the past of Bitcoin. And the answer is really, really not great. It's been a very, very bloody time. And I think a lot of this probably is contributed to the fact that we're seeing a lot of these defaults. We're seeing a lot of crypto lenders go under. And hopefully we turn around soon, guys. That's kind of the breakdown I wanted to give to you. Massive news on the crypto lending side. We're seeing max pain for a lot of companies out there, a lot of defaulting, and a lot of bankruptcies. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.